How's it going, everybody? Theo Hybrid here, Theo God Hybrid Mix. So mix it with God and man. So Christian. But yeah, I'm gonna talk about this whole Donda thing. So I'm gonna just get straight to the point. Not gonna ramble too much. So this guy named Squirt Reynolds, the funniest name, but he's mentioning these tweets from Kanye. Now originally I had got it from Ruslan KD about this topic. So, shout out to Ruslan KD for bringing up the topic and mentioning it on his channel. I mentioned it in my what do you call it, in the comments of his post. So I just wanted to make a video on it. The post reads, now again, it's from this guy named Squirt Reynolds on the Twitter page. I actually got it also from, I got it the reference from Squirt Reynolds from hiphoplately.com. So I got it from there. I got it like the tweet from there. And what Kanye was talking about, the context is that the guy had overslept. I guess they were supposed to meet at a certain time, something like 9 or something like that. And the dude had overslept. And so the guy didn't even like reply right away. He actually waited for like an hour or two and then was telling him, "Hey, bro, I'm sorry. I had to do this." Excuse me. What happened was that like he overslept and then he tried to get a ride and all that good stuff. And the dude was like, Kanye was like, "Stop texting, go find God," and stuff like that. So here's my thought. It's one thing that you're a high level artist and people know your name and people know you for your acclaim. But there's a big difference now. Now you're Christian. So what does that mean in respect to a business? Now for myself, I am not a business owner. I am just a employee. I am employee currently for Amazon. I had this COVID thing and I stopped working until I got my COVID test back. So we'll see if I'm still in employment. But in respect to this, like, I don't think he's running like a necessarily a business, but he's exchanging money, so I would think it's technically a business. So in conjunction with this, he is a Christian now, and I'm pretty sure when he made this album, he was hiring Christians. Now I don't know if he's just hiring non-Christians and stuff like that. He probably is. I mean, the industry isn't necessarily a Christian centric place. It's just a place that makes music and makes money. So, so I low key find this a little strange because people kept having it. I mean, it's very polarized in this idea of like, what do we do with Kanye now that he's a Christian in the Christian community? It just hasn't been a unison thing. So I like to say for myself, like, pray for him, But in this instance, I just found this like, because I found it to be a little strange because what Ruslan was talking about is to pray for him. Now again, maybe I'm missing it. I kept watching like halfway and then I skipped it. I just stopped because I was just the tone of it just seemed to be like, okay, Kanye's a high level artist. So like, why are we skipping out on high level artists? If you're an engineer working for Kanye, he's a high level artist. Why would you oversleep like that? And I think it just happens, My issue with this instance is that you talk about God. Again, I'm a Christian, and I've had my shares of just being graceless. I've had my shares of not being the kind of person I need to be, the Christian person I need to be, a man of faith that I need to be. I've had my faults, and this is just probably one of those things that happen with Kanye. He just has his faults. But in this, I do want to be able to say, hey, even in a Christian life, you do have to have a little bit of you do need to have a little bit of discipline. And I do that I say that for myself. So for instance, for myself, for my job at Amazon regularly, I would have to, because I know the time that I would have to go for Amazon is at a certain time. Knowing that at first I had it only an hour cushion. So like I got up about an hour before I had to go over there. I took note of when I had to go over there via car. So it took me about an hour to get to that car. Get from my place where I'm currently residing to my job, my place of work. And so I had to take into account that. Now what I'm doing is adding 2 hours to that equation. And so one thing I do is I plan it 2 hours ahead, and after that I shower prior the night before, so that I won't have to shower in the morning. And so one of the things is I prep. I do a lot of prep work. I know for myself, I can't just sit here and just do this stuff on the fly. For me, I have to do prep work. So I get up 2 hours. That 1 hour, I prep and I do stuff. I clean my face. I grab something to eat. I get ready to get going. But some people could just go ahead and do all that stuff and they do the time. But I live with somebody, so I can't do that. So I have to be very intentional with my time. And when I go to sleep, I have to be intentional with that. I can't oversleep. It's not so much oversleep, but I can't sleep late, and then expect myself, yeah, let me just go ahead and do this, I'll wake up, I can't have faith in myself like that. It says no faith, no confidence in the flesh. So I have to do all this prep work so that I can get to work on time. I can have enough time when I get to work to prep and do whatever I got to do and then start to work. So again, I don't know what this guy was doing. It's just one text, and that's not really a lot. All I see here is after 2 hours, Kanye told him, "Hey, yo, go home. Hey, you're fired. Go home." And that's what he said, right? That's what he said. You're fired. Go home. He's not. He didn't even figuratively say, "Hey, take the day off." He just said, "You're fired. Go home." And the dude freaked out. And again, it's so maybe he was going to be the type to be like, okay, he didn't say I'm fired, so I'm gonna go over there and explain myself and stuff like that. I don't know. Frankly, that's part of the issue. I don't have enough information to sit here and say that this dude was a habitual oversleeper, and that Kanye was just tired of him messing up on this, and then he was like, all right, you got to get out of here. All I see from this one text is that this one incident happened. He, ditched him. He was like, all right, you good. And then the dude freaked out, explained his story, and the dude was like, hey, yo, stop texting, go find God. Again, you'll find us on Squirt Reynolds' Twitter page of the leaked footage. And I don't know if this is going to imply that Kanye's a slave driver or something like that. But to me, it was a little strange to me, because I'm like, again, we fall short of the glory of God. We fall short, but I just think as a Christian, you're held to higher standards. You're held to different standards than the world. So if I were to just sit here and say, hey, it's just whatever, woo woo woo, then what am I saying for everybody else? Am I saying the same thing? Then I'm treating you like everybody else. Like, again, Kanye isn't special. I mean, he's special in the world's eyes, but in terms of Christ, we're all the same in Christ, right? So if that's the case, then I have to treat him with the same level of dignity, the same level of accountability that I treat other people. At the same time, because he's a new Christian, we apply a lot more, I guess, mercy, but we still hold him accountable to stuff. So again, that's for everybody. But given that he's a new Christian, we still have to have mercy, because there's some things he still doesn't understand. But as a high level artist, I can see there's certain things you're used to, certain things that you're just like, yo, everything has to work. Everything, people have to be on time. People maybe even have to be early. Things have to keep moving. And again, it's not like 1,000 people are watching Kanye. This is millions of people who are anticipating this album, and you just can't sit here and let people slouch around. You say, you don't work, you don't eat. So those things make sense. I just wish Kanye had a bit more grace, given this one piece of information that I've seen. I'm not trying to sit here and defend him or go against him like that. I do have to just tell him, like, yo, as a fellow Christian, there's a little bit of mercy you kind of have to implement. Again, what about church discipline? He doesn't know what church discipline is. Church discipline is essentially when somebody falls off the boat, if somebody falls off the rock, if somebody's doing some misdeeds, bad behavior. Again, I don't know if this has to do anything of a business model. I don't. But when somebody is doing poor conduct, you confront that person and you try to see if you guys can settle it with just you and that person. If that don't happen, you grab another person with yourself and you confront that person. I don't know the time frame, maybe give them a day, a week, a month, or whatever. But you have another person confront that person. and try to work it out with that. They said if it works out, you've won your brother. If that doesn't work, bring this person who doesn't agree with you or the other person that you went with, bring them before the church, and then bring that same issue over. If he or she has not smoothed out that issue again, sorry, if they haven't smoothed out that issue, then you have to what is it? I think it's something like cast them off or something like that. You just have to be kind of done with them for the moment. Now again, I want to say I can't remember where this is set in the Bible. I know it's in the Bible. It's church discipline. At least it's dubbed church discipline. And it doesn't mean that we don't eventually bring them back in. Him or her back in. But what the expectation is after that is that this person has let go of that sin. And maybe you just repeat the process of church discipline again. But that's the love. That's a way of accountability. You know, you come to them, and again, that suggests that the person is what do you call it? A repeat offender with these poor choices. I'm not gonna say it's a mistake because I mean it could have been a mistake because you overslept. But again, I think you can correct that by sleeping earlier. And so I just didn't see that. I didn't even see a slight of grace that was like, yo, okay, take the day tomorrow. I need you to this isn't good. This isn't good for me. This isn't good for my music. This isn't good for the project I'm trying to make. Brother, you are just you're not being very helpful to me. You're not being very considerate to me. I have deadlines. I have timestamps. I need this to work, and you're not helping me out. Anybody who's familiar with the Pareto Distribution, Jordan Peterson speaks about this, about how within every company there is a small level of high level workers. You know, they are like essentially like the Kanye's. They are the people, the CEOs, the people who, even in the company, like the employees, they work excessively hard. They get their stuff done. They're on time. They work harder than everybody else. And then you have the rest of the people, which is kind of that ethic, and then they taper off in terms of their effectiveness. Now, again, I don't know if this guy's a perpetual oversleeper. You know, I don't know if this guy just assumed that Kanye was just a Christian now. So he was just like, okay, I could do whatever now. Or, you know, I can't make these judgments because I don't have the information. I just can't. I cannot. So what I am just going to say, and I can't say that Kanye's being graceless. I just see it from this one screenshot that he is. And that's a leak, you know. So it's like, it's a little strange, you know. So I guess that's all I have for that. I just have another topic, and that just has to do with a related topic, and that just has to do with Kanye's Donda album that had a bunch of artists, and now his newer version of the album that doesn't have these artists. Now I haven't done so much research on that aspect of things. I just know I seen it from hip hop. Let me see it. Hip Hop Lately, of Chris Brown's leaked verse, and so I heard it, and it was interesting. And they said Soulja Boy had another verse on there, but it just goes to show. It showed me how there were so many of these artists. Again, it's the whole traditional aspect of Black culture where we have this nominal, this kind of like, I guess I'm gonna do it, but I don't really believe it. It's just a traditional thing, like a view of Christianity. Because you see, they keep mentioning, oh, the sins. Oh, I got sins. I'm gonna keep sinning. Oh my gosh. Oh God, just please give me mercy. And that is an aspect of the faith that people give. God gives mercy to sinners, but you know, He has other tenets. He got mercy. He desires repentance. He wants us to be sanctified, to be like God. In terms of the character, and if God is love, then we are like, we have the character. And again, back to the whole engineer thing. Discipline is self-discipline, self-control is a thing, a fruit of the Holy Spirit. It's one of those things that eventually, as you continuously grow in God, your sanctification has that cultural expectation. You expect it after like 5 years to draw closer to God and God to do something. You know, it's not the fact that we're putting God on our borrowed time. It's the fact that we have this expectation that, hey, God, I need I am expecting you to do something in this person's life. And if they are falling off the wagon, if they're just getting worse, that kind of tells you some stuff too. So, but yeah, back to the topic at hand. In terms of Chris Brown and Soldier Boy, and even a few other artists that I heard on the Donda album. I haven't heard all of the Donda album, but I heard a few of them, and it was just kind of, again, it just showed this nominal view that like, yo, I pray God helps me with my sins, but I'm gonna still wild out and do whatever. I'm gonna just do whatever. And with that Chris Brown, I was like, oh snap, this is hot. Again, he was saying that Christianese stuff. Again, it's like the secular version of Christianese. And what Christianese for me is essentially a lot of terms in the Christian group that we say that I forget. I know when I hear it, but it's like when you talk amongst Christians, they have a certain lingo that they use. Now, for me, when I hear Christianese from these nominally Christian artists, they could be, most of them say they believe in God. They don't say they believe in Jesus. They don't say they're Christians. They say they're just theists. They are God believers. So, and the context of that is that they are Christian God believers, but who knows? Some people say I'm not Christian, I'm not religious, I'm spiritual, and that could mean a plethora of things. I like, yeah. And so, it just made me think about the artists that was on the Donda album and the ones that got cut. And then when I listened to Kanye West, when I listened to Chris Brown's verse and the was it his New Again? His New Again verse. It was the first half was secular Christianese, and the other half was like a bunch of wild stuff. Like in a group text, we're gonna have some group. So it was a little funny to me because it's just like you see this all throughout. You kind of see this in the peppered throughout the album, and probably the pre-version and now the poster version. They had a bunch of those artists, and now the poster version removed a lot of artists from it. It still peppered a few artists in there that is not, their verses aren't as graphic. The verses are not as scandalous or I guess sexy might be a word for it, but yeah, it's not even sexy. It's just a little scandalous, a little much. Especially that has to do with Kanye and his spiritual awakening and stuff like that. Again, I guess I'm thinking about it in terms of a music perspective, in terms of a marketing perspective. Like, okay, who is his audience? And again, I don't think it's just Christians. I think it is now Christians, but I think it also includes his old fans too, who just liked his music just for his quality, his talent. So it just is. That's all really I have to say. I do find it interesting. I hope that Kanye can learn more about the faith and learn more about the aspects of faith, such as forgiveness, mercy, the fruits of the Holy Spirit, peace, patience, kindness, gentleness, and self-control. There's probably like two others I can't remember, but in terms of Kanye just trying to give out these Christian qualities, I just like Ruslan said, the best thing we should do is pray for him, and that's just my send off message is just pray for Kanye, guys. Whoever you guys listen to, whoever you guys I don't know, whoever you rock with or whatever. When you hear Kanye and you see these moments, you see him falling down. Know that he's one person, and that if you have a comment about him, again, this includes myself too, because I'm doing the same thing. Attempt to be supportive, but don't like skip out on what he did, and understand. Sorry, my original point was understand that we are millions of people commenting on one singular Kanye. So just be a little bit mindful of what you say. I do have to say, pray for him. Just like Bruce Line said for Kanye, pray for him. And that's what I'm going to do. Pray for him. Because, yeah, he's still new in the faith. He still is learning about the aspects of faith and things like sanctification to be like God. So I just pray for him, and I will be praying for him. And I just hope that this incident, a similar incident that may happen, can come with more grace. Yeah, that's all I got.